Welcome to the Cocoa Nomad Podcast, a show about location-independent entrepreneurship. I'll discuss the techniques, tools, and tips that can help you balance work and travel, and share my experiences and experiments in trying to make both a living and a life. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cocoa Nomad Podcast with your host, the Cocoa Nomad. And in today's episode, the Retrospective, we're going to review the previous 2 weeks in terms of what went well, what lessons I've learned, and what is next. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the biggest one I'm excited about to talk about is the launch of my YouTube channel. So I mentioned this a few weeks ago. It's finally launched. I'll have a link inside of the show notes so you can go and check out the videos yourself. Two of the episodes are the podcast, and a couple of videos are based on Swift. I've been working a lot with SwiftUI, and I've run into a bunch of little quirky errors and bugs. I've actually run into a ton of them, but most of them are minor. And so what I decided to do is I made a few videos of how to get around those, and each week I'll try to share another one. I'll try to create one or two videos in which I find these quirks inside of SwiftUI, we work through them, or some new how to actually do something, how to make an app is what I'm really working towards. And so that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to step-by-step show people who are interested in using SwiftUI how to create apps. So that's one of the channels or playlists on the YouTube channel that I'll have. There'll probably be a few more because I like to talk about, of course, as you know on the show, workflows and the work process and sort of changing your mindset around like how you work and things you just think about and you're approaching your day-to-day work and challenges that you face. So there'll definitely be some videos in that regard as well. I'm starting with apps because it's something that I'm doing full time. Of course, it's my day job. I work with it quite a bit. And again, I'm super excited about SwiftUI. I will be doing videos in using Flutter as well for Android or cross-platform. I shouldn't just say Android because Flutter is made for cross-platform apps. I will be doing some of the same apps actually, so they're sample apps that you can build and just kind of compare and contrast. I love compare and contrast, by the way. It was like my favorite part of those tests in middle school. And I'll do those videos as well. And then the super mega ultra challenge is, as I've mentioned before, I've been taking Spanish lessons to improve my formal speaking, to get the proper verb tense, not just casual conversation I've been doing for years. And that is because I will also be doing these videos in Spanish. I'm actually working on one right now for design patterns for all you programmers out there. I'm doing one on the repository pattern. And ran through a lot of it with my Spanish teacher. So every week I'll be going through with her, just gonna make sure like I'm saying things the right way, am I phrasing it correctly, and then posting a video in Spanish talking about a topic around either work or programming. Starting with programming because it's like right within the wheelhouse. It's like the closest thing I can touch on a day-to-day basis, so it makes it fairly easy and accessible. Now on to the lessons. Before I go to the lessons, the other success is I just had a wild hair last week with SwiftUI, and I've been eating a lot of these Menus Del Día, and so I just constructed an app, and it's about ready to go. Like I have the app, it's about ready to launch, and again, I'm using it for the purposes of the YouTube channel and the instructional videos, but I started testing it out, and I was showing it to someone at lunch. We were happening to have lunch at one of the Menus Del Día locations, and she was like, wow, that's pretty neat. It's like, how long did it take you to do it? And I was like, very proud of the fact it didn't take that long compared to how long it would have taken me in UIKit. Now, it wouldn't be super long in UIKit either, but it was just so much faster with SwiftUI. I was just really excited about it. So that was one success I'd like to share. So I've just got a little bit more polish. I wanted to add the ability to add reviews. So like I ate at this place and it's like, I want to be able to say something about this particular visit to this restaurant. And then it'll grow from there. There's some other things I'd like to do, but again, you got to create something small, as I mentioned in the previous episode. So starting small, make the app, and then just add things to it as we go. So that moves me into the setbacks and lessons learned. I didn't really have any setbacks except that the Fala Capoeira is pushed back a little bit because of the hackathon app. And I decided to use this as the basis for the instructional material instead of Fala Capoeira. So like that would be another class because it involves a couple of other things and some topics I'd like to talk about. But I think it was easier to do this one. It can get some of the more basic ideas across. The themes of sort of like having a list view and having a detail view And these are like the basic concepts inside of SwiftUI or inside of a lot of programming frameworks and approaches. It's like a list of data and then a detail of one of those items in that data list. And then talk about some other things like persistence and testing and these things that we can sort of touch on from there. So I've decided that like I'll just use this app instead, but I'm still working on it. I've got some neat things that I would like to do with it that I think would be more in depth, a little bit more like intermediate to advanced topics. So I'm going to save it for that. The other lesson is really just like there's so much work involved in making videos. But you don't have to do all that stuff to get started. So that was the biggest lesson for me. It's like, just go ahead and record, make the videos. Yes, I don't have like a lot of transitions or some really cool thumbnail or lots going on in terms of the video. It's just like I got to the point, just make the video and just move on. And that's really where I'm trying to live, quote unquote, right now in terms of the work that I'm doing and creating the videos is just stay in that moment and just focusing on the content, making it short and sweet. I really just like the podcast. I don't want it to go over long. I don't want 30-minute videos yet. I mean, I just think right now it's just a process that I need to get better at with the shorter sort of quick lessons, quick tips, quick, workarounds, things like that. And then as I get better, I'll add some of these other elements. But I want it to be sustainable. If I went out here and tried to do too much too early, it's just going to be something where I won't keep it up. I'll be like, man, I'm not going to sit down for like an hour and a half to make one, 20-minute video, and then I'll just stop doing it. So, but, oh no, it's like I'll make a 5-minute video, and if I mess up, it's only 5 minutes. So like it takes me 3-4 takes. It's fine. It's like half an hour. I've still got a complete video done for a half an hour investment. So it's more like getting that bang for the buck, and the outcome is the most important thing at this stage. And the momentum is the next most important thing. So those two things are what I'm using to propel me forward, to build this habit of creating the videos. The same way I did with making the podcast. So it's really important to sort of make sure it's something that I can keep doing because it's something I want to continue to do. So what's next in terms of the work is quite simple. As I mentioned before, Follow Capoeira was like, it got pushed back a little bit. So I have a little bit of work to do there. I'll circle back once I get the hackathon app, the Menus Del Día app done and the videos done there. The repository pattern video is next. It's one of the things I'll be doing in the next 2 weeks. So that video will be posted. Plenty more on the SwiftUI. I have a long list now of SwiftUI how-tos and workarounds and small sort of like features or sort of like the ability to do things inside of Swift. I'm at a loss for the word there, but just showing a lot of how-to. So, and then continue to move the podcast. But as soon as I get a better camera, you'll actually see my face. I'll intersperse like the video with me in the videos for YouTube. So if you do prefer to listen to this podcast on YouTube, then you can do it there. Plus, it aids in discoverability. I found it's like a lot of people, A, don't listen to podcasts, and B, don't know how to find them. So I felt like it would be a little bit easier if I sort of like double dipped and put the same video or audio as a video on YouTube. So some people could discover it. And it's also an added benefit. I'm always looking for another benefit. Something I can learn is learning SEO. It's like getting better at understanding like what titles and what sort of things people are looking for and making sure that they can find the videos in which I'm talking about those topics by making the proper title and the proper description. So those are the things that I'm working on now, just trying to get better at, in addition to, of course, my day job, the client work that I do, which is going along swimmingly. There's some lessons learned in there. That's probably where most of these video lessons ideas come from, is that things I'm doing my day job. It's like, oh, geez, that didn't work. Or how do you make this happen? Or, oh, I just found a neat new way to do this that's different from the way that I read in the documentation or that I've seen some other people do. So it's the gift that keeps on giving, plus the paycheck, which is nice. Got to eat tacos. And those aren't free, at least not yet. So that's where we are. Closing out, I just want to thank everyone for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, please help other people find it by rating it. Go into Apple Podcasts or your podcast tool of choice and give me a rating and a review. It helps people discover it, and it really helps me out there. Again, if you have topics, ideas for topics or questions or feedback, please hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, at the Cocoa Nomad. I will respond. I'm always looking to engage with people. Coming soon, check out the YouTube. You can comment there. Check out if you want to watch these episodes there as well. That's fine. I'm not there yet. You just hear my voice like you're doing now. But soon you'll see my face. I had to get my hair fixed. I can't believe I just said that. I had to get my hair fixed. Anyway, I want to look better on camera. I don't want to do like the Frosty soap opera thing where it's just like, Vaseline on the lens. But it'll be better. And just continuing to improve the content to make sure it's something useful to help you in your day-to-day work and improve your workflow, improve your process, have a little fun, kind of peek into the life of this guy who can't figure out where he's going next, travel around the world. Also, maybe inspire you to try that as well. In fact, I'll drop a link about group travel in the show notes that one of the fellow R-Wires, Kevin Martin, did, and I think it's really good. He talks about the difference between individual travel and how to decide to do group travel and the things you need to consider and whether or not you even need to consider doing a program such as a remote year. So that's just a little bonus nugget I'm just going to throw in there because I thought it was really useful this week. And I think it's something good for as someone who's done both solo and group travel and constantly makes a decision about whether it's worth it to join a group to do a particular thing or not. I think it's helpful and it could be for you as well. Thanks for listening. Have an awesome week and I'll talk to you next time.